Well, if that didn't wake you up.
Yeah, a little edgy Dick Dale-ish.
Dick Dale-ish. It's not really
Dale-ish.
Dick Dale because it's licensable music.
Yep.
Welcome back. This is Think Local First hour here on Santa Cruz Voice. I'm in the studio. This is Susan O'Connor-Fraser.
And the co-host, Tam O'Connor-Fraser.
Yes.
And I'm actually very excited to learn what we're going to learn for the next hour.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Well, because as much as I've been around this area, I've not really been to the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History.
Yeah, we've got admission here. It's one of those things, and we've got two guests, Tara. I want to say Tara Thomas and Ross Johnston from the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely thrilled to be here.
Cool.
Excellent.
And, it is an admission that, we haven't been there before, but that's what we love. I mean, we love learning, right? I mean, that's part of what you guys serve up, some learning over there at the museum. And this show provides us with an opportunity to learn about a lot of local places. So
we got to fill us in on everything.
So let's start first and Tara, tell me, were you named after the Gone with the Wind, Tara?
I am Irish, and so Irish on my mother's side. So yes,
it was one of the names on our
yes, Tara was
name list for when we had our daughter.
It's because I had a crush on Tara King of the Avengers.
Oh yeah, which is probably why we didn't go with it.
That was a good thing.
So tell me, what's your background, Tara, and what are you doing now at the museum?
Sure. So I actually come to the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History from UC Santa Cruz, where I received my PhD in 2021.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I currently am a adjunct professor in the humanities at UC Santa Cruz. And have always been very interested in the environmental humanities, in creating public programs to help educate the community. So I, lived in Seabright for 3 years and would often go to First Fridays at the museum and go to some of their events and exhibits that they put on. And so when the opportunity came up for a new community engagement and development manager position, I had to apply. And I'm so excited to be in my second month working for the museum.
Oh, you're a newbie.
I'm a newbie.
Yeah. And you're a doctor.
And a doctor, Dr. Thomas.
Dr. Thomas. How about you, Ross? Tell me about your journey to Santa Cruz Museum of Art, or Museum of Natural History.
Absolutely. You're not going to ask me about my name, about the store, Ross Geller from Friends. I mean, it's not quite as exciting as Gone with the Wind, but, dress for less. Who knows who I was named after. But yes, I'm also very new. I started back in early May. So I'm a Watsonville native. After finishing high school locally, I moved to the East Coast for schooling and pretty much have spent the rest of my professional life out on the East Coast working in zoos, aquariums, museums, other informal science learning centers. But, as I'm getting older and Santa Cruz is such a cool place, mom and dad are here that, I spread my wings and now it's time to, fly home. I have wonderful memories of going on field trips to the Natural History Museum in Santa Cruz. So it's very cool to be on the semi-professional, pretending to be a professional, on the educator side rather than being the educatee side.
So what drew you to, it sounds like your history is really around museums and public places where people can learn. What drew you to that from your Watsonville roots? Yeah,
absolutely. So definitely it's kind of that perfect blend of science and education. In undergrad, waffling between, do I want to be a scientist? Do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to be an in-classroom teacher? Nonprofit world really attracted me to that. One of I think my favorite parts about just museums, zoos, aquariums, botanical gardens in general is the ability to have kind of that edutainment capacity that we're able to engage in and around a very cool space. I mean, field trips, I just felt like were the most transformative thing in my early life, that having field trips to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, having field trips to the Tech Museum in San Jose, having a field trip to the Natural History Museum, all of those really resonated with just out-of-the-classroom learning opportunities. So kind of having the ability to spark that next generation of interest in the kiddos, and just what a spotlight of a cool place that, you're the feature for the year, the week, the month for those kids getting out of the classroom to see this fossil larger than life. So, one of the ways I like to think about it is you're getting the kids close enough to care. They don't know to know until they see it up close in person.
So tell me about, who wants to tell me about the kind of the big picture of what the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History is? Which one are you going to take that one?
Well, I'll start by just saying that field trips are a big part of what we do. We've been providing field trips for Santa Cruz County students since the 1970s. This past year, we provided about 300 field trips and school programs for students across the county, and served over 6,000 students.
Wow.
So that's a major part of what we do, as well as the public programs, public events, which Ross can talk more about.
So if I'm a student, what's the age range of the students that are coming there?
I mean, one of the jokes I like to make is that our audiences are K to gray. So
K to purple in my case.
Multi-generational learners. So we typically have a curriculum-based field trip education for, elementary, middle school, the occasional high schoolers that aligns with California state standards. So checking off all those boxes in a very fun educational capacity. But then we also offer these wonderful programs called mobile museums, where we actually bring our collections and our education and our artifacts and interpretation to the school, to the after-school care center, the community place, local libraries. So for schools that aren't able to come to us, we do have the capacity to provide these free programs to them.
So if I imagine that the experience changes, how often do you change up what I might see if I came in, today versus 6 months ago? How would it be different?
Sure. So we offer several different exhibits throughout the year. We just took down our Chitoni Coast Dairies exhibit, where we were celebrating the new national monument in Santa Cruz County. We now have our regular exhibit up on display until October, when we have the Museum of the Macabre exhibit. And I wonder if Ross could maybe speak a little bit more, since he's helping to develop this out.
Well, before we get there, let's talk, because that's very interesting, let's talk about what the regular exhibit or what the normal exhibit would be at the museum.
Yeah, you could say that it rocks, because it definitely has a geology focus. So, swinging by, you want to take anything for granite. So, terrible jokes. I got too many of them.
Oh, boy.
So typically we have about 4 specialty exhibits a year, 4-ish, depending on who we're partnering with, and assuming there's a local group that we're able to build an exhibit around. But normally we have about 4 specialty exhibits annually, and then in the interim between these exhibits, we have our standard exhibit, which focuses on just the natural history of Santa Cruz County, everything from the geology to the redwoods, the animal species, flora, fauna, the humans that made Santa Cruz such a unique place. One of our colleagues, Liz, who you're corresponding to, taught me this wonderful little antidote about the 3 L's of Santa Cruz: lumber, leisure, and lime. So we have a great exhibit all about that, about how did we become a tourist destination? How do we become this conservation sustainability hub? What will you see if you go hiking or you go down to the beach? Another really fun permanent exhibit is we also have live animals. So we have live snakes. We also have this amazing touch pool that focuses on all the animals in the tide pools that you'd find right off Santa Cruz beaches.
Oh, wow.
So there's some element of what I might see if I went down to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, because they also have touch pools there. And I really want to talk about this, the macabre. And so tell me about, because when is that happening and what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we like to call it our big Super Bowl kind of the year. This is our biggest exhibition of the year. This year, the exhibit opens on October 4th and runs through November 17th. So it does have a considerable time with us. You could say that it's a pretty stellar exhibit because it is space themed. Yep. So the official name of the exhibit is Out of This World, Looking to the Stars.
Okay.
So we're featuring kind of the history of telescopes. We've partnered with the Lick Observatory. So we have these amazing catalogs of kind of 1880s images of space, all the way up to modern astrophotography and stargazing equipment. We partnered with this amazing astrophotographer based out of the South Bay, Alan Rios, who is the state-of-the-art, I mean, literally rocket scientist, who is loaning us some equipment that looks so sci-fi, it doesn't even look real. So we got to swing by to see what real people are using to map the edges of the universe. It's wild.
Wow.
Interesting. We had
go check that out.
went up to the top of Mauna Kea in Hawaii, where they're doing a lot of that, space research up there. So, and I'm sure that's a whole different scale of telescope. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes, 100%. So, the full on observatory is just absolutely wild. The great part about partnering with Lick on this is that they've been able to provide a lot of these almost like sepia tone-esque images of like kind of the original star twinkle, like early photos of Mars and the moon. So it's really cool to have the, as a natural history museum, have kind of that historical perspective and then
see where it is today.
Exactly. Nice little juxtaposition, compare and contrast of what, not, observatory level. I mean, some of the equipment that Alan is loaning us still is, I'm not a tall guy, but, it's bigger than me. So it's pretty impressive.
Wow. So why do you use the word macabre, which to me sounds like horror film? That's what came to me.
That's what intrigued you.
Where I went.
And I was thinking about the whole, Halloween in October.
Yep. So how is it connected to Halloween in October? And
we love Halloween.
Well, Santa Cruz loves Halloween,
and so we go full board, just Halloween spooky exhibits during the month of October.
Oh. Okay.
So this is actually one of our less spooky exhibits.
Okay.
But we also have a Halloween party that's a part of the month and a half long programming that we do around this exhibit. And the Halloween party will sort of lean into aliens and outer space and sci-fi.
Aliens. We went to see. Oh, what's the show? Deadpool and Wolverine, and which we loved. Yeah. And it's not something to bring your little kids to, but they showed a trailer to the new Aliens movie, and it's like it's pretty rough. I don't like that much macabre. I have to look up what the definition of that is. But so you said starts on October 4th and runs until.
Yes, November 17th.
November 17th, yep. So about 6 weeks. And then what happens?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the party goes itself, so every fall we have that fall seasonal exhibit that we have specialty programming around, and then one nuance of that is just hyper-focused into that enormous Halloween party. Mm-hmm. So, we're looking at space as a scientific topic, so as a prestigious institution in Santa Cruz, and as a leader in, providing accessible education to our community, we want to make sure that we, tell the correct and, still engaging scientific story of space. And then on the 26th of October, we still want to lean into the fun, more celebratory side of Halloween. So what's a way that we can translate the science into a Halloween party? Oh, aliens is perfect. So we partner with the Santa Cruz Film Society. So we do a big screening out in our amphitheater behind the museum in Tyrrell Park. It's less Alien the movie, but it's more like I guess we're kind of leaning more into almost the kitsch Alien. Uh-huh. So the movie we're playing, for example, is Mars Attacks.
Oh, so how fun is that?
Right. So a lot more of that claymation.
Well, we have to go to our first break here, so please stay with us. We will be back after we hear from some sponsors. This is Susan O'Connor Fraser and her co-host
Tam O'Connor Fraser.
Oop, he's looking at his phone.
Well, I'm trying to get a picture of the museum here on an aerial view, so I can kind of get a sense of.
We will where it is. We will be back after these commercials, so stay tuned. Don't go away.
Cannabis is one of nature's most beneficial plants, and at Treehouse Dispensary, we use it to build community. In addition to dispensing cannabis and education, Treehouse hosts First Friday events every month that feature our community's local artists, makers, and activists. If you're 21 plus, join us at 3651 Soquel Drive every First Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. to enjoy the work of local artists and musicians, find one-of-a-kind gifts, and learn more about the top cannabis products in California. See you soon!
Deer fence, wood fence, livestock chain link, vinyl, iron fence, Cypress Coast Fence, Cypress Coast Fence.
I'm Kevin Donovan, the owner of Cypress Coast Fence, Monterey Bay Area's premier fence company.
And I'm Katie Donovan, Kevin's sister. I'm one of the project coordinators. I'll help you choose the best fence for your needs, and I'll be with you for every step of the project.
We work with local suppliers and employ quality craftsmen to build the right fence to secure, protect, or privatize your property. We've been in business for 15 years and have been voted best fence company for 7 years running.
Give us a call for your no-obligation consultation at 831-783-1500 or at cypresscoastfence.com.
We don't just build fences, we make good neighbors.
Deer fence, wood fence, livestock chain link, vinyl, iron fence, Cypress Coast Fence, Cypress Coast Fence.
Time to eat and talk business. Chef Ben here from the Back Nine Grill and Bar, inviting you to talk business over a leisurely lunch or a formal dinner or maybe a quick libation. The Back Nine is the easiest place to get to in Santa Cruz County. Easy off the Pasatiempo exit with ample parking and great food. The Back Nine is the place to meet for business and great food. Time to eat and talk business. See you at the Nine.
Hello and welcome back to
Yeah.
Think Local First Radio here on Santa Cruz Voice. We're broadcasting from the community television and the digital media studio here in Santa Cruz. And our guests today are for the second hour of Think Local First programming is Ross and Tara with the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History. We are talking about the program or displays or exhibits that are coming in October, on October 4th, which is more space related. So right now, today is First Friday. So what happens on First Friday at your place?
Yeah, absolutely. So First Friday is one of our most popular events. Great way to engage the community, all of Santa Cruz. We host this wonderful block party, essentially. We provide free admission all day. So considering that you folks have not been to us yet and you need to swing by, First Friday of every month is free admission. So all day. We stay open late as well. So the First Friday events start at 5. We stay open until 8. There's beverages, food trucks, different thematic community partner booths. We partner with all of these other nonprofits in the area, providing them with a table, a booth to talk about who they are in line with whatever the theme happens to be of that month. So tonight, for our September 1st Friday, we're celebrating the fall harvest. So the theme is food, farming, and fun. So looking at a lot of the...
I love alliteration.
Us too. That's our bread and butter at the museum. So yeah, we're partnering with a lot of wonderful agriculturally themed groups all around Santa Cruz County, from Life Lab to the Watsonville Incubator Kitchen, to Compost Santa Cruz, and all of these wonderful green agro-themed groups.
Oh, cool! And as we all know, the next week is the Santa Cruz County Fair. You guys are participating. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So from a natural history perspective, one of our big claim to fame, one of our most robust areas of our collection, we have this wonderful archivist, our collections manager, Kathleen, who oversees, everything from the fossils to the bones to the botanical specimens. But one of our most robust areas of collections are insects. So we are one of the focal points, one of the main celebrities within the Bug Barn at the Santa Cruz County Fair. Yeah.
Interesting.
Where's the Bug Barn at the fair? I don't know that I saw that last time I was there. But
man, gotta swing by. It's not too far. It's in that same kind of general area as like the bonsai rooms and like the little botanical rooms as well, in that indoor capacity. A lot of other groups bringing out their collections, but not only do we get to show some of our really cool creepy crawlies, but we also can be guest experts. So if you have a picture of a bug that you would love an ID on, we have our education staff there that is able to tell you, yes, that is a brown beetle in some capacity.
You're going to be like that beetle that was on my foot. I looked down, we were driving back from somewhere in Southern California. I looked down and there was this thing on my foot, and it was like, well, of course it probably wasn't that big, but it seemed pretty big.
It was really pretty too.
It was ended up to be some kind of a green beetle. It was just, I'm actually okay with bugs, spiders, not so much. But it was still like, this is too big to be on my foot. So, like, pull off the freeway, get out of the commuter lane, get this thing off my foot.
It was an event. So I'm curious in terms of, so where do people, before break, I had to go look at Google Maps to see visually where, your location and such. So where do people park when they come to your museum?
We actually have museum reserved parking on Pilkington Avenue.
Oh, okay.
So that is the best place to park if you're going to the museum. Mm-hmm. It tends to get a little bit busy during the summertime.
I bet.
But the rest of the year, it's pretty easy to find parking.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you don't upset your neighbors.
Yeah, right. No, we have really wonderful, supportive community neighbors.
Yeah.
And one of the perks during peak season is included with your general admission ticket, which is only $5. You also receive a parking pass. So, a great way to not only visit us. Typically, it takes around an hour and a half to see everything in the museum, enjoy the gift shop, and then, if you want to go walk down to Seabright Beach, the parking pass typically lasts about 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
And it's a beautiful park there, too. And you have you're such a beautiful location. It must be really rough to work there.
The view is just...
It's bad.
Can't get any worse than that.
We're actually adopting the park, so we have an agreement with the city to adopt Tyrrell Park, and we're helping restore Pilkington Creek.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. We have this fantastic outdoor garden learning center is the formal title of it, that are all native plants, sustainably grown, with low water management, as well as just native species to California, wildflowers, trees, all around the garden. And we did such a wonderful job with that the city wants us to basically expand and, help bring Pilkington Creek back up to that local riparian or kind of native river ecosystem. So removing the invasive species. We have wonderful volunteers all around the community that come out and just help garden with us. The third Saturday of every month, we have a program called Saturdays in the Soil, where you can just hang out and garden, deadhead, weed, and plant native species, remove invasive species. It's a wonderful way to get dirty and give back.
So how do those invasive species get into your little ecosystem there?
Boy, that is a great question. A million different options. So typically invasive species are really good at what they do, and which is why they would choke out a native species. They either grow faster, they're hardier than some of our native species. So Santa Cruz, it's a great place to live for humans and, flora and fauna. So everyone wants to, move here. So whether it's a native, whether it's an invasive species that might have been in someone's garden and just kind of overflowed or was dumped, whether their seeds, were eaten by a bird and, dropped out later, could have, been, with Pilkington Creek in particular, because it's a flowing body of water, a lot of stuff comes from further up the creek, and then just once the water slows down, it makes this, wonderful little slower water, marshy area. It's a great place to, set up roots.
Right.
So a lot of different options. Yeah.
Because the eucalyptus is one of the things in Santa Cruz that's not native.
Right.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, Australia.
Australia.
So originally, the eucalyptus were brought over largely for lumber, because, it grows really fast. Is kind of like the big perk of eucalyptus. It grows really fast. Theoretically, it'd be really good lumber. It's not really. Theoretically, it'd be really good for erosion control, but it's pretty sensitive to a lot of different weather conditions. Believe it or not, our weather in California is not the same weather it's used to. So a lot of the stuff we have, stress it out. So it's not. They're beautiful, of course, and
right.
A tree is a tree, which is shade and green spacing, and removing carbon from the environment through photosynthesis. So there's perks, but we're working with a lot of Santa Cruz County arborists to bring back native species, work with our native species. We do have some beautiful giant eucalyptus in our property that are pretty much heritage trees at this point, based on how old and robust they are. So they're more of a focal point versus working with native species that we're trying to restore.
Yeah, it's a good way to broach the subject of non-native species and talk about that history there of
Absolutely.
How they got here. I know that there's we live up in Scotts Valley, and somebody talked about the non-native flora up there that caused them all kinds of allergies and stuff like that. That's I don't even remember what it was, but it's just, I'm so fortunate that I don't have allergies. So what are some of the other programs that you either have going on or that are coming into the museum?
Yeah, absolutely. So staying on the space topic, which are, not that I'm biased or anything, but I'm really excited for this really exciting opportunity.
Yeah, was planetarium in the list of the things you said?
Well, we have a really cool lecture series that's starting up. So
Okay.
Typically Wednesdays and Thursdays, every week for the entire duration of the program, we have a different guest speaker that we're bringing in to build upon this overarching topic of looking into space. So our lecture series is called the Naturalist Nights, where we pretty much have almost like a TED Talk style program. We have wine, cheese, specialty drinks, cocktails, and we get to have this really unique opportunity to talk to really cool folks about this unreal stuff that they're doing. And they all build upon each other, so you can buy a one-off ticket, you can buy a ticket to the entire series. They're really cheap. It's only a $16 ticket for a 2-hour program. So we have an hour-long lecture. There's a Q&A section, an interactive opportunity with the expert. They run from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, typically on Wednesdays. But we have everything from an astrobiologist looking for life on other planets to another scientist who is a cosmic alchemist looking at how when stars consume each other, gold and silver is made. We have another really cool individual. Her title is Curator of Invertebrates at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and she's the octopus expert. So we're going to talk about our octopuses, aliens. Another really wild one is we partnered with Verve Coffee, interestingly enough, to do a special espresso martini coffee cocktail based on this cosmic phenomena called cosmic latte. So the color of the Milky Way and the galaxies and stars imploding is actually a very latte-colored phenomena. So Verve is making us a special cosmic latte beverage to have this really cool coffee and cosmos conversation.
Well, I love lattes, and that's and so is that something that's happening on a specific night or all through the course of the or forever?
Yeah, wonderful question. So we do have Naturalist Nights as a program trickled in throughout the year, based on around if a really cool scientist wants to share their research with the community, we're always happy to be that lightning rod to provide opportunities to teach people about that. For this particular series, it is more robust than normal because we have such a cool lineup around such a cool topic. So, working with UCSC professors, biologists, we're working with MBARI, the Monterey Bay Marine Research Deep Sea Facility down in Moss Landing. They're doing a program where they're talking about how their deep sea tech is very similar to the stuff that goes out into space,
right,
and how they've worked on deep sea rovers all the way to moon rovers. So that's a really cool kind of compare and contrast. But as far as the frequency, yes, it will be typically Wednesday nights, 6 to 8, for the entire duration of the space exhibit.
So, Tara, tell me about the relationship with UC Santa Cruz, because you talked about you being a professor, and you talked a little bit about the things that you're working on with, or that the museum's working on that are related to. What's that relationship look like between the museum and the university?
Sure. So we are partnered with the Humanity Institute at UC Santa Cruz, and they are supporting our educators workshop with the Amma Mutsun. And they are also working on developing an internship with myself and the Communication and Development Department. So we're working in that capacity with UC Santa Cruz, as well as really connecting with different science departments as well, usually on the public programming side.
Yeah, absolutely. Half of our lecturers from the Naturalist Nights are coming from the astrobiology, astrophysics departments. So, they love working with us. They get to share all their cool stuff that's otherwise kind of locked away. So it's a fun way to lift the curtain on all the amazing things our partners at UCSC are doing. So we're always happy to be the stage for them.
I think that a lot of people don't realize how much research is done up at UC Santa Cruz, and something that as a community we can feel pretty proud of, and whether it's the human genome to even cancer research and all these other things that are happening that that come out of the different research programs up there. And I think isn't Seymour is associated with UCSC as well?
Yeah, the Seymour Center, absolutely.
Okay. So the launch of the your event that's running from October to November, is that coincide with the next First Friday? Is that when?
Yeah, great observation. Absolutely. So the theme for the October First Friday is all about space. Okay. We have the Lick Observatory joining us. We have the Dark Sky Society, which is a wonderful light pollution awareness nonprofit based out of Santa Cruz. We have a group that provides information on owls and how to do owl boxes and barns in your backyard. Everything under the sun, literally.
We have an owl barn. We have an owl barn.
We do
on our.
But no owls to take residence.
Do you know that for sure?
Oh yeah, I check it. Every.
I want to get a camera in there, but no, not yet.
Not yet. So I'm intrigued by the octopus's aliens or octopus's alien. I've always thought that. That's why I can't eat them.
You mean calamari?
Calamari, yeah.
Both. Yeah. Octopus, squid. Yeah. Cephalopods are just so weird.
They are weird.
In such a cool way. So, we have
they're amazing.
Mary from the Monterey Bay Aquarium giving this amazing kind of behind-the-scenes look at how she takes care of them, the husbandry behind what, an octopus is, how, the veterinary care, the mental stimulation that, that has to be provided in order to, keep them entertained.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're super smart animals.
Yeah,
so
they're probably smarter than most humans.
They do puzzles faster than I can.
Well, there's 2 shows that are that we've watched. One of them, The Boys had
Don't even go there.
had an octopus in that, and then there was Resident Alien, wasn't he? He had
a friend, yeah.
Yeah, that was his friend he claimed was from another planet. He rescued him from some restaurant aquarium or something like that because it was from another planet. So,
it was fun.
Okay, well, we're coming up on our second break here, and we'll have to go to commercial. This is Susan O'Connor-Fraser from Think Local First Radio.
And Tam O'Connor-Fraser. And I'm Irish.
Yeah, he's Irish, Tam. And we will be back after these messages with more Think Local First on Santa Cruz Voice. Stay tuned.
The Santa Cruz County Fair opens Wednesday, September 11th. Wednesday and Thursday, monster trucks and motocross return. Friday night, Ancy McLean and the Trailer Park Troubadours. Saturday night, Red, a Taylor Swift tribute band. And Sunday, Chada's show with Lola Montez, and that evening, Los Terranos del Norte. And our drone show takes to the sky each night. There's fun for the whole family. Pre-sale tickets and information at SantaCruzCountyFair.com.
The Santa Cruz County Fair.
You need a clean, pleasant space to conduct business, but you don't want the burden of a long, expensive lease. Your solution is Satellite Co-working and Digital Media Studio on Soquel Avenue. Satellite offers private offices, meeting and conference rooms, even co-working by the hour, day, week, or month. Schedule a tour at SatelliteCoworking.com. Mention Santa Cruz Voice for 20% off your first reservation.
The Hook is California's first ever cannabis outlet. 100% locally owned and operated, we're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. We believe that everyone should have access to fairly priced cannabis, so we work hard to get it to you for 30 to 50% less than the other guys. If you're 21 or older with a valid ID, visit us in Capitola or in Watsonville today. We're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. Check out our website, hookoutlet.com, for deals and stay groovy.
Hey, Warren, you know it's been a while since I've been up to your showroom and garden center in Scotts Valley. Maybe the folks out there might want to know where you are.
Absolutely. To find Knox Roofing and the Knox Garden Box Company, just head up into beautiful Scotts Valley. We're at 46 El Pueblo Road, next door to Scarborough Lumber and the beautiful nursery. And when it comes to wood items, we have It's All About Wood gift shop. And, of course, the Knox Garden Box. Lots to look at. We'd love to see you at Knox Roofing and the Knox Garden Box store. Okay, thanks, folks.
Hello, and welcome back to Think Local First Radio here on Santa Cruz Voice. This is Susan O'Connor-Frazier.
And Tam O'Connor-Frazier, and you're getting pretty good on that board.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Moving it up and down like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you seem to know what you're doing.
Yeah, it can be, when you're here, it's a lot more relaxing for me, even though you're not doing anything on the board, because I figure if I screw up, you'll be here to help me figure it out. And we are here with Ross and Tara from the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History. Been talking about all the different programs they have going on over there, and one of the things that you mentioned a little bit earlier was that you also have a mobile museum that you take out to some of the schools or to, bring the museum to them. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in order to engage all individuals across Santa Cruz County, all the way, from Watsonville all the way up to Davenport, we are interacting with different schools, after-school care programs, public libraries, different nonprofits as well. For example, we do a lot of collaborations with the Watsonville Wetlands Watch. So they typically have, some community fare, very similar to what we do at the museum as well. So, we provide booths to these community partners. Often they'll host their own events, and then we'll participate in them as one of these kind of mini experts based on one of the joys about being a natural history museum is we know a little bit of everything. Yeah. So plants, animals, human history, all the above. So we fit into a lot of puzzle pieces really well. With that being said, we also have a lot of really cool things to share. So when the library is looking for some community engagement, when there's an after-school program at a local Boys and Girls Club in Watsonville, and they're looking for a way to not only, edutainment, right? Not only a way to keep the attention of the kiddos, but also, have them walk away with a really cool fact or be able to go home and say they touched something very cool, like everything from a megalodon, prehistoric shark tooth fossil, all the way to, just watercoloring using native plant dyes.
Interesting. So, if we've talked a little bit about being, what you're, being able to come to events. What are your hours there at the museum, and does it change from month to month, season to season, or what's the dealio, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. So during the school year, we front load a lot of our field trip programming before we generally open, which is really exciting. So it's a way to, make sure the kiddos have basically the museum to themselves for their learning opportunities. And then, at a certain time, at 10 o'clock in the morning, then we open to the general public. So the kiddos have already, finished their activities, are, typically having a snack in the garden. So it's a really cool way that we are providing these opportunities to all multi-generational audience members.
K to Gray.
K to Gray, yeah.
So, and is that 7 days a week or not, or other?
Every day except Monday.
Every day but Monday. Okay. So, Tara, tell me about how is the museum funded? That I think, it's fascinating to me. It's like, where does the money come from?
Sure. So we actually opened in 1905. So we are Santa Cruz's oldest, longest standing museum.
1905?
1905.
Wow.
That being said, we've been an independent nonprofit since 2009, so we are completely funded by community supporters. We receive some grants, but the majority of it is donations that come in from individuals.
So before this, when did you say, in 2000?
In 2009.
Before that, how were you funded?
Sure. So we were a Santa Cruz City museum before that.
Oh, okay.
And after the recession hit, we became a nonprofit organization.
So if somebody wants to help fund your operation, what would they do?
They can go directly to our website and click the donate button. They can also just come into the museum and go to the front desk or ask for me directly. And we can have a conversation about how they can get involved. And there are so many different ways of getting involved as well. So donations are just one of many ways.
Because I would
volunteer program and...
Yeah, I would think at $5 a shot, that's not going to support you. You're going to need a little bit bigger checks coming on.
We love support in any way. Volunteerism, $5, $20 helps, as well as just becoming a member.
Okay.
So we have a great membership program with all sorts of different programming and discounts for members throughout the year. So all of our ticketed events, we have discounts for members. We have major camp discounts. So if you have kids and you get a family membership, you can get hundreds of dollars of discounts on camps every year.
So what would a camp be? Tell me about a camp experience.
So they're part of our school programming. We have educational camps that happen during the summer, winter, and spring. And I wonder if Ross could speak a little bit more about the content of those.
100%. So they are nearly full-day camps. So, starting early in the morning, finishing at 3 o'clock, typically, depending on, time of year, sunsetting, weather. However, yes, they all have different themes, which is very cool. So whether it's learning about indigenous people, whether it's learning about fossils, whether it's learning about plants or animals, nature explorations. We also have this wonderful program called Nature Club, where we basically teach kiddos how to be a junior naturalist. So observations, we have all these wonderful kid-focused equipment gear, kid binoculars, special backpack kits that they're able to take out into the field to be that junior naturalist and teach everyone that we all are naturalists, that making observations, learning about your surroundings, asking why or what is that qualifies you as a scientist. So we definitely want to empower the kiddos to go out in Santa Cruz. We have a really cool environment, so we want to get them out there.
I can't even imagine the number of little mini ecosystems that we have here in Santa Cruz, because, again, we live actually in a redwood forest, very different than what you might find down here in the flatlands or,
just on the museum's property, we have a large lawn, we have the beach across the street, we have a native pollinator flower garden, we have the creek, so, a riparian river ecosystem. Just at the museum, you're going to see birds, completely different bird species, 50 feet away from where you're currently standing. So it's very cool.
And what we were talking earlier about the mobile function. What does that mobile? Is it a bus, a van, a minivan? What is it?
Yeah, that's a great question. It really depends on what our community partner is asking of us. It also depends on how much space they're giving us.
Right.
So it could be anything from. So, we have little folding tables, for example. So, I guess tier 1 is, we bring a folding table, collapsible table, and, we create a little artifact demo display, look at these fossils, make some observations, and, engage in that capacity. And that's typically more for, like, a fair presence where people are just constantly moving.
Right.
However, if we have a big auditorium or gymnasium, we have activities that, can take up the entire space.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just did a wonderful event at the Monterey Bay Marine Sanctuary Discovery Center in collaboration with NOAA, and we did this amazing display on indigenous fishing. So we brought some of our cool artifacts from there, and then we also demoed how large megalodons could get, and we had the kids walk all the way out for their 60-foot measurements, and it was really cool. So we know how to take up a corner of a room, and we know how to take up a whole auditorium.
So how talk about some of those relationships that you have. You talked about, NOAA and the Monterey Bay, what did you call that though?
Yeah, that Marine Discovery Center near the boardwalk.
Right, near the boardwalk and the wharf. What other, do you partner with organizations like Save Our Shores or, that type of thing as well?
Absolutely. So they are actually in charge of our beach permits for a lot of our beach cleanups. So, as I mentioned earlier, one of the best parts about being a natural history museum is that we, have a finger in every pot. Mm-hmm. So, we're not trapped just to talk about marine stuff. We're not trapped just to talk about botanicals. So, we partner with Save Our Seashore, and, for all of our beach cleanups, which are volunteer events. Tara just did a corporate one for like an adult volunteer engagement. Which is, really exciting. We partner with Groundswell, which is another wonderful nonprofit that, works with a lot of, groundwater and local plant restoration. They're really helping us revamp our creek environment. But, yeah, basically everything under the sun.
Well, I think that's one of the things that's really fascinating about this particular area is I'm curious about the different, peoples, that have, come through and, between, Italian fishermen and there's the Chinese, culture that was here, and then is not here as much as it was, and it's just kind of, fascinating all of the different groups, that I don't know who are the Native American tribes, that were called this area home.
Yeah, we have great working relationships with the local indigenous cultures. We do a lot of land acknowledgments. One of our colleagues, Jenny, has Amma Mutsun teacher professional development opportunities to work with local teachers on how to translate these, historical topics into relevant classroom, discussions to, align these really amazing stories with, common curriculum standards. So it's really cool that we are seen as such a trusted individual within the community that all of these groups, reach out to us. So it's one of the wins of being, a nonprofit. We can support other nonprofits. And, getting invited to all these groups. Also, the Art Museum, Ma, we do a lot of stuff with them in Abbott Square. We, had a wonderful booth at Santa Cruz County Pride, the Bug Barn. So we're all over.
You seem so passionate. Is that just you, or is it, are you just, you seem like you haven't lost that sense of wonder.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It means a lot. There's some level to the kid that never grew up that still wants to facilitate field trips. That I want to share about how cool our place is with these kiddos that will then hopefully be empowered to go to museums for the rest of their life. And there's a lot of studies in the museum community that by bringing kiddos to these spaces, it really creates a snowball effect of that there's this continual spark creating lifelong learning, that you'll forever be curious. And we're a really good place to be curious in and around. Our founder, Laura Hecox, was a naturalist, and she was just first off, yay women in STEM, which is super exciting, but also the fact that, she was just a really curious beachcomber and found amazing shells and fossils and seaweed and basically built this collection that now became our museum. So telling that really cool story that if you're just an avid beachcomber, or if you find some really fun, bizarre, passionate thing to be, sparked by, don't give up on it.
How about you, Tara? Where do you get your spark, and how does this particular job kind of keep fueling that?
Sure. Well, I'm a just passionate educator, as are many of our museum staff. And so I actually grew up, my family, I have a grandfather who's a biology professor, and then great-grandparents who are nature photographers. So I've spent my entire life just going hiking and taking nature photography in the redwoods up in Northern California, Humboldt County. So when I came here, I was really just drawn to going on hikes, exploring Santa Cruz County when I was in graduate school. So when this job came around, I just absolutely had to get it. What better way of just encouraging everyone to connect with nature and environmental sciences than to actually go to a museum and get that hands-on interactive education.
Now, you mentioned that besides donating, writing checks, putting, coming to the museum, you talked about volunteering. What kinds of volunteers are you looking for? What can someone expect from a volunteer experience with you guys?
Yes.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
We never say no to volunteers. I'm just a broken record at this point, but like one of the really cool parts about our museum is that because we do so much, there's a volunteer opportunity for every type of person. Mm-hmm. If you want to do collections and kind of like archival research, and you might have been a retired librarian and you really like that database organization, we can put you in our registrar. If you're a retired science teacher and you're still passionate about engaging with kiddos, you can be one of the co-facilitators for one of our field trips or youth-led programs. If you want, I guess another one of these wonderful perk about being a volunteer is that when you volunteer for events with us, you also get to enjoy the event for free, which is exciting.
Right.
So, a $16 ticket for a lecture, isn't expensive, but assuming you're willing to help us, set up the folding chairs in advance as a volunteer, you get to enjoy that lecture, for free. Same thing with gardening, that, now that we've adopted the park, we definitely need all that green thumbs out there that we can get. So if you reach out to us just as a fan of the museum, we will find the volunteer opportunity for and or around you.
Any particular type of person you're looking for at the moment? Does it mainly surrounding the gardening situation?
Boy, that's a wonderful question. I mean, we would welcome anyone who's enthusiastic about joining the museum. Everything from just a general gallery docent all the way, to a green-thumbed individual. The more help, the merrier. And we just want we want a really good community ambassador, I guess is the ideal person. That we want someone who can be proud to say that they're a museum volunteer.
Absolutely. We've had all sorts of really wonderful, people that have come through over the years. We had a young man named Marcus who just graduated from high school, who started coming to the museum when he was 4 or 5 years old, before he could even remember. He always wanted to come back to see the live animals. So when he was old enough, he started volunteering as the live animal volunteer. And he actually just graduated high school and got a full ride scholarship to be a zoologist.
Oh,
so
wow.
Now he's going off to college at the University of Wyoming to study zoology.
That's amazing.
And I'm sure that having, his full ride probably was also helped by the work that he did volunteering with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You write a mean letter of recommendation.
Yeah. all you high school juniors out there, and even earlier, to keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
We are coming up on the end of the hour here with the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History. If anybody wants to find out more about you, what do they do?
Go to our website, santacruzmuseum.org.
.org.
Yep. We have great social media, Facebook, Instagram, and, swing by First Fridays. Free events, free admission. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. O'Connor?
Well, just, no, it's, I wanted to get into some stuff in terms of all the different things that they sell there, but,
We have a great gift shop.
Yeah. And you can get a lot of stuff online, too, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll see you at that octopus talk, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was so interesting. I chaperoned a bunch of probably 8th graders to Washington, D.C. when they went on their D.C. trip, and all the kids went right to the gift shop at the Smithsonian. It's like, go see, don't spend the whole time in the gift shop. Go see the rest of the I mean, of course, you can't spend just one day at the Smithsonian. So, again, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and you will probably see our faces in the coming weeks as we go and check you out.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So this is Susan O'Connor Fraser coming to the end of our second hour here on Think Local First Radio on Santa Cruz Voice. Look forward to next week. I don't even have who I'm talking to next week. Oh, we're out at the fair.
Yeah,
we're talking
at the fair, and we're going to go look at some insects.
We're going to go look at some bugs. So thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate you being with us every Friday.